Hello, everybody. My name is Ratnos, and welcome to Mythic Tindral Sageswift testing. This is the Dragonriding boss. On Mythic, a lot has changed from Heroic. We were only able to get through the first phase, which luckily has all the Mythic mechanics, basically. So if you watch the Heroic videos, basically all of the Mythic mechanics happen throughout all the phases. First Mythic mechanic is these tank mushrooms actually alternate in colors. There's two that spawn every set instead of just one every second or every 2 seconds. And you have to alternate which color you soak. It actually is easier than the Heroic to do it because on Heroic you kind of have to, time yourself whether I'm soaking this set or next set. This time you just know you're always soaking, but you alternate colors. Then the other mechanics. So there's a lot going on here. I'm actually going to rewind and talk about this a little bit more slowly because there's a lot of stuff happening in a very short time on Mythic here. You also have these falling stars, which are swirlies to dodge. And then, so here's the first mushroom cast, as we are saying. I'm starting with green and going orange. Now the boss turns into a owl and casts Flare Bomb. This is a Mythic mechanic. Along with this, the boss also shoots out 4 feathers, which are pretty hard to see here, but they're always spawned left, back, right, and and right of the boss. So you can see the swirlies here, here, and here. And those turn into feathers. And again, yeah, this little trapezoid pattern here. So what you can do is you can run on top of them, extra action button, and the extra action button lets you Dragon Riding mount for 15 seconds. So those players now have 15 seconds of Dragon Riding, and what they're doing is they're going up in the air, and you can see them on the minimap up here, all going and soaking these bombs that are in the air. And then once you soak the bomb, you can soak one bomb. If you soak a second, it'll do like 3 million damage to you. If you don't soak the bombs, they land on the ground and kill everybody. Once you soak the bomb, you get empowered. That causes it so that when you land, you do like 500k to any of the enemies, the vines, the boss, or the trees. And so you can see we've got a bunch of these vines under the boss, and the Dragon Riders are now landing and bang, blowing them up. And looked really good at this pull. Most of the hour that did not look that good. That's the best it ever looked for us. Was just all these vines. Our Dragon Riders go up, and then bang, they come down and just nuke all the vines. The vines on Mythic are a lot nastier than they are on Heroic, because when you get entangled by the vines, if you break them early or if you die while entangled, they spawn these scorched treants, which we spawned a couple on that set. They died pretty quick. The treants have health based on how much health the vines had when they despawned, and they pulse damage to the whole raid, a lot of damage. So it's a pretty big way to wipe. It basically is breaking your vines. Now, you might be wondering, why am I walking around freely? Have I spawned a tree? It seemed like tanks were just able to freely walk, even though they spawned a vine. So there was just a vine on the ground that was tied to you, but didn't actually affect you as a tank, which I think is designed to make it so you can actually do this mushroom mechanic, even if you don't kill the vines instantly. So that second set of vines is really nasty, very hard to deal with because you're dodging these fire tornadoes. You need to get rooted so that you're not in the path of them. This is the third set of vines, which again, we have Dragon Riding mounts for, that can now come in and bomb them, is the idea. But we were already kind of wiping by this point. So now I was just kind of trying to desperately keep this pull alive so we could see the intermission here. But yeah, you can see the pulsing from these trees is causing me, even a few trees is causing me, a tank, quite a lot of raid damage. So I'm now just trying to survive here for a little while. And there's my cheat death trinket going off, my Dawn of the Infinite cheat death trinket, but I was able to get to the feather and make it into the intermission. So here is the Dragon Riding intermission. A little bit of a nastier pattern than you see on Heroic as well. You just a lot more of the fire orbs and kind of a tight box around each of the green orbs. But yeah, you fly through the green orbs, get a little bit of vigor, get a little bit of move speed. And on Mythic, you need to reach the platform. And as soon as you reach the platform, this is when testing ended, by the way. As soon as you reach the platform, the boss starts channeling and starts amping up damage on the raid, which is, again, different than, at least on Heroic testing, it didn't function that way. So you need to get to the platform and stop the boss from, get everybody to the platform quickly, and then you have a bunch of damage and a bunch of healing to do until you break the shield. And yeah, it is extremely hectic. The timing seemed very tight, even on that Dragon Riding intermission. The trees are so nasty. The Dragon Riding in the main phase is nasty. And then the Heroic phase, or the Mythic changes in P2 and P3 are basically just more of the same. The only other difference is that the seeds that you soak from the tree form, from the Tranquility, give you a 90-second debuff instead of a 6-second debuff, which means you're going to be taking a lot more damage if you soak multiple of those, especially even across multiple casts of the tree thing. But other than that, it's just Heroic P2 and Heroic P3 with the Mythic mushrooms, with the Dragonriding mid-phase mechanic, and with the roots, killing you or spawning trees if you break them early. So overall, I still am having fun with this fight. I had less fun than I did on heroic testing. But this was also a very laggy testing period. We wiped a lot to basically just not being effective at doing damage to these vines when a bunch of them spawned because we were lagging so much. So that is often true of PTR testing and often doesn't make it into retail or to live when that actually comes out. And the dragon riding mid-phase mechanic, our raiders seem to enjoy that. I'm a tank. I didn't get to do it really, but the people we had doing that mechanic of running around, picking up the feather after the boss turned into an owl, going up, doing a bit of dragon riding, getting a bomb, and coming back down and doing a bunch of damage when they land. That they were enjoying that for the most part. So I think that even the mid-phase dragon riding is working out pretty well here. Again, much better than I expected. I would have expected us to be hating this on testing. From basically like a gimmick like that being part of the second to last boss fight, but it seemed good. When testing ended, we were sad it ended. We wanted to test more, and we were enjoying progressing it. So obviously it's still, I think, an extremely risky fight. I think there's a good chance that this is fun for an hour of PTR testing. It's possible that it will be a very frustrating thing to wipe to when it actually comes out, but overall I'm still pretty optimistic about this fight. It seems like it's working pretty well. All right, I just realized there's one more mythic mechanic I didn't mention, which is the debuffs and the dispels. So you can see them come out here. 3 people have these orange circles around them, and they need to run out and get dispelled. When they get dispelled, they drop fire puddles under where they were. On Mythic, you can't dispel within 2 seconds, or else you get 2 stacks of this debuff, which you can see is hurting the raid for quite a bit here. We did actually dispel 2 of them super quick, so it's actually maybe not the end of the world, but it is worth noting that there is like a stacking dot. So particularly if you tried to mass dispel it and you got 3 stacks of that, it would probably be lethal. And I think actually in the dungeon journal, it's supposed to do 2,000% increased damage, and it was only doing 100% increased damage if you had 2 stacks. So if it gets updated to actually function like it says in the dungeon journal, you can't do what we did there and dispel 2 of them within 2 seconds of each other. So that is one more mythic change. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.